Have you ever been intimidated when you're dealing with a multi-billion-dollar company about the imbalance of power that exists between the two of you? They are a huge company. You're a small company. They have all the money in the world. You don't. They have all the time in the world. You don't. So how do you go about negotiating a fair deal with a multi-billion-dollar company? That is the subject of this third presentation of our series. This presentation is entitled Power and Influence in Business Negotiations. And this is number 69 in a series of short videos designed to help executives and entrepreneurs succeed with their enterprise. And with that, let us consider our first introductory slide. I am going to be using my own book. It is called Zeischer's Practical Handbook of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And it is from chapter 11, Strategic Planning, section 11.4, Value Chain Analysis. And this is part 3 in this series. Well, this is what we were saying at the very beginning. And that is when you, an entrepreneurial company or a small company, are negotiating with a multi-billion-dollar company, there is a tremendous imbalance of power. So how can you possibly get a fair deal out of something along these lines? Well, the first thing that we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you a definition of concessions, because you are going to have to make concessions, and hopefully your other negotiating partner is going to be making concessions as well. So what is a concession? A concession is a compromise made by one of the parties during a negotiation in order to enhance the chances of reaching a suitable agreement. And something that we're going to be sort of alluding to throughout this entire discussion is going to be principal concessions. And that is a concession which is a credible offer, not something that, it's totally off the wall, something that is credible and will encourage further negotiations. And the reason why you need to make concessions and the other party need to make concessions is that both parties would need to move away from their initial positions, which are going to be extreme. And in each one of those moves that you make going from the extremes towards an area of agreement is going to be called a concession. Well, and usually what we're going to be saying in this presentation is that those concessions need to be reciprocal. And that is, it sort of kind of takes the form of, if we do X, then in exchange, you agree to do Y. So we make a concession, and in exchange, you make a concession. So let's take a look at what we're discussing. Of course, when you're making concessions and the other party is making concession, this is what I'm going to call the concession progression. Now, during these type of negotiations, it is very important you as a small company to understand your opponent's issues. They're going to have issues that you don't have. It's possible that you may be the only person that is going to be making all the decisions. If you're dealing with a large company, that is never going to be the case. So one of the things that you can do is that if you can do your homework, if the multi-billion-dollar company has made a similar deal, perhaps you can look at it and see if this is something that is applicable to you. And then if you can understand your opponent's issues, you can anticipate whatever their objections and issues are and deal with those. Well, the other one is that, which actually is close to understanding your opponent's issues. That's the other side of the coin. And that is that you need to accept the corporate restrictions. Whoever is negotiating with you, they're going to have to double check it with their colleagues. And as a result of that, things are going to take time. So you're going to be faced with a slow pace of approvals. The larger the company, the slower the pace. And so whatever you do, try to propose small scale steps that are going to be easy for your large opponent to be able to accept. Well, the other thing that you need to really put on the table at the very beginning is that even though you're going to be making concessions, that nothing is settled until all the issues have been settled. This is very important. The other one is that you need to keep in mind, and you need to make sure that you explain to your other side that this should not be a zero-sum game. In other words, if it's a zero-sum game, you have a pie of a given size. So the bigger the slice that somebody takes, the less the other person is going to have. The whole idea here is to expand the size of the pie. That is to say, to expand the value of the proposition, and therefore it is not a zero-sum game. If it is not a zero-sum game, because both of you are creating value out of this, both of you, both parties, are going to end up on what we call a win-win negotiation. And in a win-win negotiation, things like interests, motives, and concerns are always taken into consideration by both parties to make sure that there is, in fact, a win-win negotiation. And last but not least, make sure that you concentrate on the value of what you're proposing, not on the price. A lot of people make this mistake that all you talk about is what is going to be the price of something. You should be talking about what is the value to them of what you're proposing. Don't get into the rut of having a situation where you know the price of everything and the value of nothing. You need to make sure that they accept the same thing as you, and based on that, you have a much better chance of reaching a suitable agreement. Thank you very much. Do you want to become a multi-millionaire or a multi-billionaire? Then start your own business and become an entrepreneur. Unless you have a rich uncle, I don't know of a better way of achieving your dream. So in order to help you out, I have put together a course entitled Secrets of Entrepreneurship from Soup to Nuts. And in this first page, I am showing you the first 5 lectures. And on the second page, I am showing you the next 5 lectures for a total of 10. This is a digital library. The lectures will come to you streaming at your convenience 24/7. And you can have unlimited viewing, and it's offered to you at only $49.95. In order to purchase the course, you can visit www.zeicherinstitute.com, where you can get all of the 10 college level lectures. They are actually at an MBA level. And every lecture will include the transcript of everything that is talked about, so you don't have to write anything. And if you purchase it now, you will get a free 30-minute personalized consult with your purchase via Zoom. So go right ahead and get started on your journey, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.